Flash flood warning for Pat Creek, Mill Creek, Moab, Highway 191 and Highway 128. What's up, everyone? Before we get into this one today, I just want to start by saying AK2UT was wild. This one's a little crazy. I'm going to give you some narration through it because a few spots I may or may not have actually turned on my mics. So I didn't record anything. So I'm going to give you some voiceover on this one, and I will try and explain this video as we go along. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hey Mike, you got up real early. You left about 7 a.m. local time to make a run for Moab today so you could beat your first meeting. So that's the story for this one. So I had camped on the other side of Tin Cup Pass in actual Tin Cup in Colorado. So took off from Tin Cup this morning, loaded up super early. Local time, not so early, but my time, very early. So we took off heading for Utah, a little bit of a drive, but just got going and hit down the road. One of the things that I wanted to do during AK2UT was stop in and see Trailmater, maybe talk to Rory, Sean, Mike, maybe get to meet these fellows. So while we were rolling into Moab, I cruised by and all the rigs were there. So I did what anybody else would do. We spun a U-turn and went in and actually got to go in there and meet Rory. Rory was hanging out, and eventually we ran into Mike while we were there. So we got to meet Rory and we got to meet Mike. All right, everybody. One of the moments we've been waiting for. That's right. If you look behind me, we have made it here to Moab Recovery. And we have got to meet our friend Rory. Let me tell you, they tell you, don't meet your heroes. Well, I met the man. He's a pretty cool fella. All right, before we go any further, let me explain. I was fanboying a little bit here. I hadn't met a lot of big YouTubers outside of Alaska, none to be exact. And I really did want to meet the gang from the Trailmater channel. They just seemed like good, cool guys, and they were absolutely good, cool guys. They were exactly what you would expect and hope they would be. It was great. So yeah, let me nerd out a little bit, okay? So let's take a look what we got here. We got Mater, and Mater is every bit you would expect. I am truly impressed. I've looked over it a little bit now, and it's every bit you'd expect. It's not perfect. It's abused, it's used, and it's perfect. So we met Rory, we met Mike. We weren't able to meet Sean, but we got to check out the rigs. We got to see some stuff. We got some great locations, and we got to go through chicken corners during a flash flood. Flash flood warning for Pat Creek, Mill Creek, Moab, Highway 191 and Highway 128. Get the high ground now. Oh, no way, dude. And so took off. We went to Trail Hero. We'd been there for a day. The crowd had started coming in. It started getting pretty busy. And so we ran a trail earlier in the day, and then we were heading to the last chance qualifier to watch that take place. And the traffic was just crazy. And as we're getting there, who do we see in traffic but our buddy Rory with his setup? So, of course, we're going to let Rory cut in because people weren't letting him cut in. So we let Rory cut in, and he's going to the same place. So we end up going to the same parking lot, and we stop and say, hey, what's up, Rory? And hey, let you in there in traffic. Hey, appreciate it, yada, 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 whatever. And then we head into the event because I want to see what's going on. We're excited to see it. we're watching the event, and almost as soon as we get in there, this person gets himself in a bind, and there's a recovery in process. So Rory's there maybe 15 minutes, and they got him going to get somebody on the hook. So we're watching this, and I'm like, man, I want to get down there and see what's going on. So we go down there, like we just happen to be you can just go down there. So we went down there, and there's Glenn Blake, and there's Rory, and there's a buggy getting recovered, and our buddy Braxton from BWC Racing comes by and does some cool stuff in his buggy, and it's crazy. We're here in the middle of it, and of course, you know, I'm gonna film Rory doing a recovery at Trailbreaker. That's gonna be cool. So I'm filming, and they get in a little situation where they gotta back up and choose a different path down, and Rory points over and goes, "Hey, help!" So of course, you know, if Rory tells you to help, you turn off the camera and you help. But I did get a little bit of my contribution to the recovery, so you could technically say I helped Rory and Trail Minimator do a recovery. Anyways, that's the end of that day. The next day we have the actual Trailbreaker competition, and as we show up to the Trailbreaker competition, we run into Rory and Mike and Sean, and they're getting ready to set up, and they're like, "Hey, you want to hang out with us?" And we're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Cool, let's help set up stuff." So we just start setting up stuff, and we're kind of hanging out of the tent, and Mike goes off, and Sean goes and parks the 4-lug thug, and they get Minnie out there, and we're hanging out with Rory's buggy and the tent, just chilling, watching the show. And so we're sitting there, and this guy's in a bind, and Rory's down there spotting and stuff, and they decide they're gonna pull him out. So up comes Rory, and he says, "Hey, pull that winch line." So Cooper runs over there and pulls the winch line out and sends it down to Rory, and Rory comes over and says, "All right, hop in here. This is how you operate the winch and everything." And Cooper hops in Rory's buggy, and Rory goes down the hill there, and Rory's sending signals, and the other guy's signaling, and they're signaling, and everybody's signaling, and I'm filming. Here we are. We're helping Rory and the Trailmator crew do a recovery again, and now we're doing it at the Trailbreaker event at Trail Hero, and it's kind of a very surreal moment. 2 weeks prior, I was hanging out in this guy's yard, fanboying, looking over his equipment, and now here we are, just two guys from Alaska running his equipment. It was a cool moment, you know. And so we get done with that, and kind of hanging out with Rory, and go watch the event from where he's watching. We're BSing about, you know, the rigs and stuff, and hey, there's a better spot over here. So we go over to this other spot, and it's just great. And we're hanging out, we're talking about the event, and just the best seat in the house, I think, you know, and hanging out with Rory and chatting. And then I see where Mike's at, and Mike has the best spot in all of Trail Hero and all of the Trailbreaker event. Like, he can see everything. He has the perfect little perch down there, and I think to myself, man, if I could just film from there. So I go down there, and I'm like, how do I get into that tent? And there's a trail marshal or official there, and I get his attention. I go, "Hey, how do I get over there?" And the guy goes, "Hurry up." So I just walk across the course, and I get in there. And I get in there, and Mike's like, "Oh, hey." And I'm like, "Hey, Mike, what's going on?" And he's like, "Nothing." I'm like, "Hey, blah, blah, blah." We get to chatting about his truck and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, "Hey, man, you've had the best spot. Like, you got the perfect filming spot." And he's like, "Yeah, it's been a really good spot." Well, then this buggy comes up, and Mike's like, "Hey, take that spot." And like, I'm not going to take a spot. That's Mike's spot. He's been there since the beginning. But Mike insists. He's like, "Take this spot." So I go, and I get Mike's perch, and then this magic happens. That's a huge drop.
They've been coming towards us and over here.
Yeah. So like literally, like Mike gave me his spot, and then the biggest moment, arguably, of the event happens immediately after. Like, I couldn't be happier. Like, it's so weird. Like, everything kind of falls into place. So the event goes on, you know, a couple more people run. It's a great time. And then that was the end of the day, but it was kind of a weird experience, and I wanted to share it with all of you because I said I would share all this stuff with you, but I didn't expect this to go this way. It was truly a fantastic experience. Like, I didn't expect it again. Shout out to Rory, shout out to Mike, shout out to Sean. We ended up hanging out with those guys a bunch more, hanging out with Mike and Sean and doing some night wheeling, which was pretty crazy, and we'll get a video of that. It was really fun. I had a great time. Trail Hero was amazing, and I highly recommend, if anybody ever gets the chance to go to Trail Hero, go to Trail Hero. And if you ever get a chance to hang out and meet Rory and Mike and Sean, they're going to be exactly who you think they are. They're super awesome. I had a great time. It was such a great event. Like, I can't wait to go back and go again. Also, here's a little bonus footage. This guy got himself in a little bit of a bind down here, and he worked this spot, and he worked it. And they thought they were going to get it, and then right at the end there, the U-joint left the chap. Now, if you pay attention in the slow-mo, you can actually see the U-joint fly right past the course marshal there. Enjoy. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you on the next one. What a trip, man.
Front driver. Usually